I'm Ann here from Ann Makes. Welcome to my studio. If you are new here, please remember to subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button below the description there or on the Ann Makes in the corner of the screen. And don't forget to click on the bell so you can be notified whenever I post a new video. So today, welcome to the Cricut How-To series, How-To number 4, and this is how to use Cricut Design Space. So if you're here, it's because you've bought a Cricut and you've unpacked it, hopefully, and you've set it up. But now what, right? Are you lost when it comes to using Cricut Design Space? Do you feel as if you have no idea how it works? I get it. I was once there. So first, did you check out all the tutorials over at Cricut.com? Because if you haven't, you may want to start there. And there's a lot of information covered right there. So when I learned how to use Cricut Design Space, that's all I had to go with. And I learned it like way back when the first Cricut Design Space came out. So it had a lot of quirks. It had a lot of errors and quirks, and I learned anyway. But nowadays I can tell you that it's a lot of these things have been taken care of, and it's much easier to use now than it was then. But are you still confused after all that? Okay, I see it's not that easy or simple at first, right? At first it's kind of overwhelming. Well, today I hope that I can shed some light on some of the things you may be wondering about. So we're going to start at the beginning. First of all, what is Cricut Design Space? So Cricut Design Space is the free software that comes with all Cricut machines. So if you buy a Cricut machine today, wherever you buy it, you will have access to the free software. And the Cricut Design Space is software that lives up in the cloud, basically. So you can use it with any of your devices, whether that be an iPad, an Android tablet, an iPhone. You can use it with laptops, desktops, and you can use it at any time, day or night, and anywhere you have basically a connection. So the beauty of this is you can start a project, let's say on your iPad, and then later continue on your laptop. And then when you're out and about, if you think of something else that you want to do, you can go back to your iPad or maybe your iPhone. So it follows you around. That's really one of the very neat things about the Cricut Design Space. And another thing is you can still work offline with what you have, with what you've created. Cricut Design Space, besides being that software that enables you to use the machine, it's also like a huge virtual library. And in this library, there are many project ideas. There's images, there's fonts for you to look through and play with. And the thing is, they keep adding new stuff. So there's always new stuff to look forward to. So now you get an idea of what Cricut Design Space is. Why do you need Cricut Design Space? Because it's the software that you need to cut anything with your Cricut. And it's actually one of the easiest softwares out there. I know that might be hard for you to believe right now, but since I'm not very techy and I've had to work, I was forced to work with a lot of different things. Trust me, this one is easy compared to a lot of other stuff. I know this because I'm not as tech savvy as I look. So having said that about Cricut Design Space, there's also something called Cricut Access. Now, Cricut Access has a cost to it. Now, Cricut Access is for when you want to access the mega library, okay? There's more there, but first, you just learn to use Cricut Design Space before you go, you know, to get too excited and want to access Cricut Access. So you can also get, the other thing that Cricut Design Space allows you to do is to get very fancy with your very own designs. So now but let's not jump ahead to all this fancy stuff, but that is what Cricut Design Space can do for you. The possibilities are immense. Now let's go back to starting out with Cricut Design Space. So first things first, you're gonna log into your Cricut Design Space account. So you're gonna log into your Cricut Design Space account. The light's reflecting on it. Okay, so you want to start or edit a new project. And in order to do that, you do that from the window called Canvas. So you're going to click to get onto the canvas. And this is where we are, the canvas here. Okay, so now I'm going to stop talking to you from this angle. I've pre-filmed the next part that you're going to see because the next part is all like facing the laptop, the computer, and it's pretty technical, but I try to break it down into plain English for you as much as I possibly can. I warn you, it's long, it's a long video because I try to cover a lot and I try to explain a lot of things to you. So enjoy. First things first, log into your Cricut Design Space account, and if you don't know what I'm referring to, then you need to go back to setting up your machine, and that's where you create your account when you do your setup and your registration of the machine, and I show how to do that in a previous video. This is my page from my Cricut Design Space. You've logged into your Cricut Design Space account. Now you want to start or edit a new project, and you can do that from this window called Canvas. So we are going to go to that canvas. We're going to click on New Project. Now this is where you create the map or the blueprint where you will edit everything so that the Cricut machine will know what to cut. You are in the canvas area. Oh, this is what we call the canvas area here. I'm going to explain what all these buttons or icons are for, and it's very hard to get better shot of how the names of all these buttons. So you may want to open up your own Cricut Design Space and go to the canvas so you can follow along. All these buttons here, or these icons, okay, may seem confusing to you for the very first time, and I'm going to try to explain what they all mean. This section here, where you have right above the measurements, this white rectangle, and then this like charcoal colored rectangle here, okay, that is called the edit area. On the left side here, where we have this lighter gray area, like a lighter gray column with all these icons on here, this is what we refer to as the insert area. Okay, and on the right here, this is the layers area. It says here layers, sync, group, ungroup, duplicate. Okay, all the way down. Blank canvas. This is where we're looking at right now. That's the right panel, the layers panel. All right, and finally, the fourth area, it's the biggest area. This here, that looks like a checkered space, or looks like a big graph paper. That's the actual canvas. You're able to follow. This is the edit
area at the top. This is the insert area. Here we have the layer area, and right smack in the middle, the largest area, is the canvas. In this top panel, the edit area, there's actually two parts. The first part, part one here, is where you would name your project. Right now it says untitled. And it's also where you cut your project. So when everything's ready to be cut, you would click on Make It. It's not highlighted right now because I don't have anything on the canvas. But once you have things on the canvas and it's ready to cut, what looks like a grayish green right now turns a brighter green. At the top here, in the first part of the edit area, here, this thing here, all the little, like you have these 3 horizontal bars. That's what we call the toggle. It's a toggle because it moves. So it's a toggle menu. Okay. Now this, I'm going to click on it to open it up. So this toggle area is where you can change your profile, you know, your information. If you have a new machine to set up, you set it up here. You need to calibrate a machine, manage custom materials, update. If you have any updates to do, you would come here. Any details of your account. If you need to link cartridges, here's Cricut Access, settings, legal information. You know, there's important information here, but right now we don't need to use this for design purposes. It's the toggle menu here. Canvas is just because that's what we're on. Right now it says untitled. That is the name of the project. When you'll have a name for your project, you enter it here once you've put an element onto the canvas. My projects is, if you have any projects that you've done, everything gets saved so you could refer back to your previous projects. So if you would like to make something again, use the same project or the same images you used in another, you could just go back there and just reuse it, so you don't have to recreate your project that you really liked. This is the save button. Very important to save your work, just like working on anything else on the computer. And again, this is Make It here, the green here. That's what you would press when you're ready to cut everything. So in this second part here, we have the undo, redo button. We have the line type, which by default it's always set at cut. And this is where you can select if you want to draw something, or you want to use the scoring stylus or the rotary scoring wheel. You would indicate that here. But to show you better what you can do with this, let's get an element on here. I'm just gonna go here to insert. I'm just gonna pick a shape. Let's pick a circle, just for the sake of making things easy. Okay. All right, so now we have a circle on here. So we've added 2 elements, a circle and a square, just for the sake of this video. I'm showing you here, this part here where it says line type. So this is where you would tell Cricut Design Space what you're going to be doing. If you're going to be cutting these shapes, if you're going to just be drawing these shapes, or if you're going to add some score, or you just want to score these shapes with the scoring stylus in the Explorer, or the scoring rotary wheel for the Cricut Maker. So that's what you would do there. I'm just going to keep it simple, like cut and draw. Here is the fill. So fill means the default is no fill. So it's assuming that all you want to do is cut these shapes out of whatever material you're going to have on the mat. But you can also choose the print, and that's what's really fun. You can have something printed on your shapes here. Okay. And again, This is the select all and deselect button. So if we press on, now it's on deselect. And now if we want to highlight these two shapes, you select all, and then you go choose your line type, your fill, whatever, and whatever you choose, it will be applied to all of these, all the elements, because you selected all. If you don't want to select all, just deselect. Let's say you just want to print a circle, and you click on the circle, and then you give the information for that one image. So here we have the edit. It allows you to either just cut the shapes or copy the shapes and paste them. Align means it allows you to line things up. So either all your elements, you can line up all your elements, and here you can align left, center horizontally, align right, align to the top, center vertically, align bottom, center, and distribute different ways. Distribute is, it just makes sure that between each element there's going to be the same amount of space, and you can do that horizontally or vertically. Next we have arrange. This is to know which element is going to be in the front or in the back. So can send an element back and have another one more forward. Down menu lets you send an element all the way to the back or move forward. And after you've done that, these will be highlighted and it says move forward, move forward, send to front. So move forward means it moves one step forward, and send to front means that it takes your element and moves it all the way to the front. I know this sounds a little confusing right now, and it's not really important maybe, but this is something you may want to use if you have different layers. Okay, we'll get to that later. Flip, so it basically reflects an image. So let's say you wanted to have two bunnies kissing, so you may have an image of a bunny, and then you'd flip the image, so it would be two bunnies kissing. So basically that's what that allows you to do. And you could flip horizontally or flip vertically. This allows you to change the size, as it's called, size, the width and the height. And from here you can see exactly how big it is right now, and this is the size it would be cut at. So if you want to change the size of your square here, let's say you don't want it to be 3.1111 by 3.1111, you want it to be 3.5, you just toggle the arrows and you change it. So now I've made it to 3, I actually went down, but I can go to, let's say I want it to be 3.5. So I go to 3.5 and it just made everything bigger. Okay. Now remember, I selected just the square, so I did not increase the size of the circle, just the square, just to show you. Okay, that's what size is for. So you know what size something is, and you can change the size. And there's a little padlock here. Click it now. It's unlocked, so that means you could still change the size. Okay. You could change the size of one side, but then it wouldn't be an equal square. So if you keep it locked, you're sure not to mess with the width and the height. So you unlock it, you can change when the widths or the height. You keep it locked, nothing will happen to the size. Next we have rotate here. This is rotate. So basically that's just like it says. Sometimes you work on a project and you need to have it at a certain angle. This is what you would use to rotate your shape. Here it says more. You click on that, you'll see position. The position shows you where the element is on the canvas. On the Y line here, it's at 1.234. See, 1.234. So it's just telling you that that's where it is, 1.234. And it's at, see here, on the X. This is the X-axis and the Y-axis. On the X-axis, it's at 5, and on the Y. So it's just telling you that's where it is on the can. This is handy if you need to move things around because you need to fit more stuff on there. Okay, now if we had written a word here, we would also have other options like font, style, curve, but we didn't choose a word. We just chose some elements here, some shapes. But we can remove those. We're just gonna say hello. So, okay, here we have hello. We chose some text. Okay. So here we have some text. So, and then we have, because we use text, there's like a third bar that shows up here. And this is what will allow you to change what these letters look like. Because right now we just use text, we just use the plain text. Here you have font, and it tells you that it's using the Cricut Sans. So that's the default, but let's say you want to change it. You can change it to the fonts that are here. And some of these you have to pay for unless you have Cricut Access, or some of these could be fonts that you already own and uploaded. And there's also the free fonts that come with Cricut. So here it's on all the fonts, the ones that are in the system, or just Cricut fonts. So if you just want Cricut fonts, like this one here is free, A Frightful Affair. So you can click on this one, and it changes your hello to the Frightful Affair font. Style, we have it at regular now, but you can also change it to writing. Click down on writing and to writing. So that's what it looks like. And then here you have font size. So this is where you would change the size of the letters. The spacing, letter space, you can change that here. The line space, so how much space there is between each line, you change that here. Alignment, again, is so you can line up your text all the way to to the left, to the center, to the right. Curve, this is where you could curve your text, and it's kind of fun to do that. So you could, and this is, you have a scale here. So you can do this. Let's say you could go all the way around, and you can go like that. So that's where you do that on the curve, which is fun. It's a fun thing to do, actually. Advanced means it lets you ungroup the letters, so you can separate each letter in one single layer. Or, and what's the other one that it has? Ungroup to letters, or ungroup to lines, and ungroup to layers. So these are a little bit more advanced, and this is something you would look into, but we shouldn't get into that right now because it's going to be confusing. Okay, but those are all the things that is possible to do. So it's really, when you try this, you get to see that actually this is pretty user-friendly. It tells you everything that you can do, and it allows you to do so much. Now let's go check out the left side. The left area here. And remember, this is what we call the insert. When I got the shapes that I used, I came here. This is what allows you to see what you're going to cut is going to look like. It's like a preview. There are 7 icons here. So these 7 icons or 7 functions are to let you to see what you're going to do is going to look like. It's a kind of a preview. Here you have new. This is when, let's say this is telling you right now, and when you press on new, if you had something here that you didn't want to lose, okay, this is where you would click cancel. No, I don't want to lose my project, because you can do that. You can accidentally click on that and say, no, I don't want to take away my project. I want to stay on my project. Because new means you're using a new canvas. So you've cleared the canvas. Okay? All right. So basically now we're going to replace. And then you have templates. And templates, let's see, you have the little t-shirt here. you get to choose a lot of templates. So let's say you're going to make an iron-on for an apron. You can use this as a template. This is just so you see what it can look like, so to help you with the placement of your text or your image. And then you can scroll down, and there's all sorts of templates. Like there's banner templates and t-shirt, there's baby bibs, there's belts, book covers, or bowl. You could see, like, let's say you wanted to make a vinyl decal to stick on a bowl that says fruit or something like that, or yum yum. You could, you know, you could use this as your template to help you design your project. And you have candles, let's say. This is really, really helpful. Even your Cricut machine, if you want to make a vinyl decal to personalize your Cricut machine, they have a template for that. Yeah, template for a crock pot, doors, slip covers, electronic slip covers. That means like the case on your iPhone, let's say. So there's lots of fun things. It allows you to do so many things. And this here is a little dangerous because it gives you so many ideas. You're gonna want to use every template here and, you know, redecorate everything in your entire home. So that's what this allows you to do. It just allows you to pick a template so you get an idea of what your project is going to look like. Here, projects. This is where you have ready to cut projects from Cricut Access. Now, if you do not have Cricut Access and you have to pay for Cricut Access, then you will have to pay for these projects. But if you've already paid to have Cricut Access, these are included with your subscription. And then again, you can scroll down a whole bunch of these. And some of these are free. But let me see. Is this one free? Yeah, see, this one is free actually. So let's say we wanted to make this Canadian, 100% Canadian from A to Z t-shirt. We could get that project right here. We could make it. We could customize it here. We can make it, and it's a free one. Isn't that nice of them? It's a free one. So take advantage of the free ones. This they provided just for us in Canada for Canada Day. So I thought that's really, really nice touch. And then you have images. Again, images that you can get from Cricut Access. Some, see here, this one says it's 99 cents. This one here says it's purchased. That means I already purchased it and uploaded it. And let's see, I know there's free ones. But you can look for free images here too. And so you just, you can scroll down or be more selective as to what kind of image you want here. Next we have the T for text. This is when you want to add text. So when you click on the text, there's this rectangle that opens up, and this is where you would type the text that you want, like hello. And this is just the Cricut default. This hello here, if you don't like the font, you don't like the size, you can alter all of that by going back up here to your edit area and using all the functions that you see here that we just went through. Next we have shapes. Shapes is where you can, if you just want to pick a simple shape, or you even want to add score lines to your project, that is where you would select this. You would find that right here. So let's close that. Upload is when, okay, it brings you to this window. Upload is where you can upload your own images for free, as long as they're a basic or vector. So your image can be something like a JPEG, a GIF, or a PNG, or a BMP, an SVG, or a DXF files. So these are things, there's a lot of free stuff out there, And there's stuff that you can subscribe to. There's lots of possibilities to get images that you pay for and free images. Sometimes these are images that were with a book that I had, and they were free with my book. So I uploaded them here so I could cut out these flowers. This was a book on paper flower making with Cricuts, and I got, you know, the images, the patterns to cut out the flowers here. So I uploaded them here. So this is just an example of stuff. Here's an example of, this is a royalty-free image that I got off the internet that I wanted to print and cut, and so I uploaded it here. So this is just some of the stuff I've uploaded. I don't have too much that I've uploaded, but this does not include everything else I have. This is just some of my uploads. Okay, so this is what you do. You would click here, upload. Here, click here on upload image, and then you would choose on your computer the file that you want to upload. There. Here too, you want to use a different pattern on something, you would have to upload patterns. I don't have any patterns uploaded, I think. Right now, no. So this is where you would upload a pattern. Again, it has to be a JPEG file, a GIF, a PNG, or a BMP. Okay. So these things, these images and patterns are files. So if you take a picture with your iPhone, all right, and your iPhone sends the picture, or you upload it, or you email it to your computer, and you save your picture. Let's say you took a picture of your cat. Haha, I've never done that, right? And let's say I take a picture of Snowball with my phone. Now I have it set up so what the images I take on my phone automatically go to my photo app on my computer. But that's what you would do. Maybe you would upload it separately from your phone to the computer. Well, whatever software, program, files you're using to keep your pictures on your computer, all those pictures are called JPEG files. So then you would, when you want to upload, let's say the picture of the cat that you took, you would click on upload image, and then in your photo file, you would find the picture of the cat, and you would upload that file. There's going to be like a file number on it. You would upload that here. That's what it means. And it's the same principle for pattern. We've done the edit area, we've done the insert area, and we've already played with the canvas a little bit. But let's go to the right hand side where we have the layers. Layers is going to depend on what you're designing. So the best way I can explain layers, let's say you want to make a birthday card for someone. Well, a birthday card is going to have one layer that says happy birthday. You're going to have one layer maybe with the a picture of a cake. The third layer, maybe it'll be the card itself. And then maybe you want an envelope, so that's a fourth layer. So you get 4 layers. So basically it's the 4 parts that make the whole that you're going to have here laid out for you. And this will tell Cricut how many, that this is, you have all these things to do, to cut, score, etc. And you'll do these one at a time, of course. So that is what layers is about. For a very simple example, I've placed 3 different elements here on the canvas. I've placed the yellow circle, the blue square, and the red triangles. And I did that just by going into shapes here and clicking on a square, a triangle, and a circle. And then I changed the color with the fill here. All right, at this point, I want to show you what happens when we have these as different layers. As you can see here, we have 3 layers. We have the circle is one layer, the triangle is another, and the square is another. Currently, these are set just to cut. So whatever color cardstock, let's say, I would have on my mat, I would have 3 steps to do. I would have to put paper on a mat to cut a circle, and one to cut a triangle and one to cut a square. So this is what we have here. Now, let's say I want to turn my elements here. I'm just going to make them smaller so it's just easier to fit on the screen. Starting to look like a little house, that's the goal. And a little circle. So here we go. Here's our birdhouse. Here's our very simple little birdhouse. Right now, I still have these cutting as 3 different pieces, right, like so, because I want to put a yellow circle on top of the blue square, etc., etc. Okay. Now, by clicking on sync here it says this panel allows you to sync colors to use fewer materials. To change colors, drag and drop an object onto the layer of your desired color. So let's say I decide that my birdhouse is going to have the same colored roof as it will the bottom part of the house. So I do that, and what I did is I dragged the square onto the blue square up onto the red triangle, and now my house will have a red roof and a red house. I'm still leaving my circle there. So that is what sync can do. Essentially what sync can do if you want to make things one color. We could do the same thing with the yellow and drag it here, and then it becomes red. That makes it easier for you to work with your elements to make them all one color. You make them all one color. If you prefer to have them different colors, you just click on them, go back here, and go back to having a green. So you'll have a green. So here you'll have, basically this means you'll have 2 different colored papers or 2 different types of materials to color. To cut. So for the sake of having an example for you, I've chosen this image. I went into images and I chose this image that is free currently on Cricut.com. It might not be free by the time this video is uploaded. And here on the layers panel, layers and sync panel area, it gives you the details. Right now it says a Meowica vinyl. That I guess is the intention, that you would have a Meowica vinyl. So you can see here that it basically has 2 layers. Cut this and cut that out of vinyl. And there's 2 different colors. Now we can make these a different color just so you get a better idea. So let's just change the center here so it's easier for you to see. So I've made the center here pink. So there's 2 pieces. Now here, if we ungroup, it means we can cut them apart. So that's what ungroup means. This image is it's not possible to cut this as one because they are different pieces. So that's not the best example to show you how to regroup it, but I could show you how to ungroup it. Duplicate basically is so you can make a second one. Delete is so you can delete the project. It's, I think, self-explanatory. Again, the sync panel here, if we want to make both pieces the same color, I just drag them together and they will be one color. It doesn't matter what color it is on the canvas. Doesn't mean that that's what you have to cut in your vinyl, paper, fabric, whatever. That's just to show it here as different layers. Now, in order to show you what weld can do, here I have 3 circle elements. I'll just show you how I select them all currently. I'll show you again. If I deselect them, you can see that these are just basically 3 circles that I've put here as elements. And I've chosen to try to make maybe the head of like a teddy bear or maybe a mouse. Now by selecting all, whatever I'm going to do to this head with ears is going to be done to the three elements. So if I go to weld here and click on it, as you can see, I no longer have 3 circles to cut, but I have this one shape. That's the beauty of weld. For attach here, I've chosen again the text hello. This time I chose the font Sign Painter, and by clicking attach and weld, I should be able to cut this as one word. Contour allows us to take off edges that we don't want. So here, to hide the contour, it says on image below, select outline portions to turn cut off and on. So here, as you can see, before the hello, let's just go back to hello. Whoops. So here we have a space in the E and the O, there's an opening, and as well as the L's. So by clicking on contour, what we are able to do, if we wish, is to not have those spaces inside. So this could be like a solid. This is something you may want to use if you're doing like a background or a shadow. This might be something you would like to do. So that's one example of how to use it in text. To demonstrate slice, I've placed a diamond and a star from the shapes here. I've taken from the shapes, I've chosen a star and a diamond, and I've just kind of moved the diamond onto the star here like this. Select all. Okay. Now by selecting all, slice, weld, attach, and flatten are highlighted. By clicking on slice, as you can see, this results in 4 other layers. So instead of cutting out a diamond and a star, this will cut out this interesting shape. It will cut this. It will cut out this other interesting shape. And it will cut out these like points. So that is what you are able to do with slice. You're able to slice things apart. By clicking on the little eyes here, just indicating that you don't want to see those as you are working.
If you've stuck with me throughout this entire video and I haven't completely discouraged you, that's great. I really appreciate it. Thank you so very much for doing so. I really put in a lot of hours into this. There were many retakes because I tried to really explain things as much as I possibly could. And I really hope that you learned a lot and that at least you feel less intimidated about trying out the Cricut Design Space. So I really did my best to try to cover as much as possible. It is impossible to cover absolutely every single little detail without making a ton of videos, but I am confident now that with the information I have given you, you have enough now, enough information to have more confidence in using Cricut Design Space, and also to go looking for any other information that I didn't cover, I may not have covered, or that any situations you may encounter down the road. There's a Facebook group, and there's lots and lots of information out there, especially at Cricut.com, on the Facebook group for Cricut. And people are makers and DIYers and designers are creating, and when there's new things being found out, new tips and tricks being found out by a whole bunch of people. It's a great community, and you can learn a lot and experiment too. So again, thank you so very much for sticking with this. I do have some other videos coming in this how-to series for beginners, and I hope you'll come back and see those. So if you like this video, I would so very much appreciate a thumbs up. Please like, comment, share, and until next time, stay crafty. Bye.